We're live.
Hi.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Hello, welcome. I'm just confirming on Facebook that we are good to go. Welcome, everybody. Yes, we are live officially. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Connie and Michaela.
We need a theme song.
I know. Coming soon, our theme song for this. Well, welcome. So yeah, we're no matter where you are or where you are tuning in from, we are so happy to have you here. And let's just take a couple minutes, Connie. I know that you can see what's happening, but just to let some people get on, if you are catching the replay, welcome. Please, everyone, whether you're catching this live or in the replay, please comment. We want this to be a conversation. We want to know your thoughts, your opinions, strategies, and tricks that work for you so that we can all share and connect and help each other. We are doing these coffee talks twice a month, and each coffee talk is going to have a different topic that we want to talk about. And who are we? We have a lot of new people on our page, which is really exciting. We just want to welcome you all to Emaya and to this community that we are creating with amazing like-minded people that are just on a mission to live their best life. And we are Connie and Kayla, or Michaela, and the co-founders of Emaya. And we are certified yoga teachers and coaches, and we're friends and mothers on a mission to help women reconnect to their light, their purpose, and their power. And we do this through yoga and meditation and coaching methodologies and conversation and community. And coffee, yeah. And, you know, Ty and I have been friends for 17 years plus, or maybe even a little bit more. I always forget the actual number. It's been so long. And we spent hours, I mean, probably thousands of hours at this point, sitting on the couch and drinking coffee and having really heartfelt, vulnerable, real conversations about what's going on in our life, in the world, and in our relationships. And I just have such value and appreciation for those moments. And while we were building Emaya, we were like, why not bring that to everybody? Because I think all of us can agree that we are at a time that needs connection and conversation and ideas and solutions to so many things in our world that need more love and light. And so that's why we're bringing Coffee Talk to you guys.
I'm sure that Debbie's here with us. Hi, Debbie. Oh, and there's Marielle. Ladies, I'm on the train, but
morning, ladies.
I love it. I'm sure that we probably said this, like, we should be on TV doing this back in the day before there was Facebook Live. So how about that for manifestation, Kayla? Here we are.
Oh my goodness. I know. God bless the internet, man. I really do value that. It's a wonderful way to connect. And so, yeah, welcome. We have 2 people with us live, 4 people now. So please comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Thank you for joining. And I think something that, you know, while we're having these conversations, that's really important for Connie and I to just share is, you know, we are here to facilitate connection and conversation and share tools that we've learned through our own trainings and our own practice. But this doesn't mean that obviously we have it all figured out. We are on this journey with you. And we were just talking the other day that our favorite yoga teachers and mentors are the ones that, you know, admit that they don't have it out. We're all human beings having a human experience, and we're learning and we're growing. And, you know, we don't ever want to, you know, come off like that way. So I don't know if I'm articulating that well, Connie, but I know
that's the whole thing. I mean, we do all this meditation, this yoga, this mindfulness, this, you know, whatever you're practicing right now to be your best self. And, you know, it's all about balance in life. I mean, you know, some days you're off balance and some days you're on balance. You can't be perfect all the time. And I think that when you give yourself permission to be human and you're learning and we're kind of like all in this together, then I think there's a lot of freedom in that as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. Marielle, is Marielle still with us? Or will somebody comment and let us know that the audio is coming in okay here? I just want to make sure. It's a little crackly for me, so if someone could just comment and let us know that we're coming through good, that would be great.
I think there's always a little delay, so we'll see what they say. But in the meantime, you know, our first coffee talk was about our relationship, and you know, we really wanted to talk about the relationship with the self. So self-love was kind of the perfect, you know, segue into this. I'm still like waiting to see. Oh yeah, sound is all good.
It's good. Yeah.
So February was like the month of love, right? So it's obvious that relationships kind of were where we wanted to focus for February. And self-love has been a really big thing for us, I feel like, always. But I don't know. There's something in the air lately for especially Michaela and I, where we're just really committing to working on ourselves in a different way, because I don't know. I think motherhood really flipped life upside down a little bit in certain ways, and you're kind of fighting for certain things, and in it all, you kind of lose. I guess no matter where you are, there are moments where you lose the sense of self and who you are and what you want, and you kind of stray from the path. And directing self-love towards ourself was kind of like seeing the light a little bit. Like, oh, okay. Do you hear my dog? I'm sorry, she's so loud. Maybe you don't.
No, I don't hear her.
She's crazy. She's on my yoga mat right now.
She's just chanting.
She's just chanting. She's practicing self-love. So anyways, it's been a really wonderful few months, really diving into loving myself. And I think that's why we were really excited for February to dive into this.
Yeah. And I think like one of the things that we've talked to like in, you know, with our students and our clients is that self-love, like it's a big concept. And I think it means different things to different people. And it certainly has meant different things to me at different phases of my life. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think Connie and I have been really talking about like, you know, where do we want to focus this topic? Because there is so many aspects of self-love. And you know, we only have 30 minutes in this coffee talk. And so I think it was just kind of like, you know, opening the conversation of like, what does self-love mean to you? And I think, you know, for me, what it all comes down to is committing to my relationship to self. When I, that I matter, and like recognizing that I matter, what I want matters, what I desire matters, what I want to create in the world matters. And when I commit to that practice, and there's lots of ways that I practice my relationship to self, but when I'm really committed to that and I'm taking that action every single day, I am trusting myself more. I know what I want more, so then I ask for what I want more, and I ask for help so that I can take action with what I want. And I'm just happier. And I think that I've gotten to a place, because I've just been committing to the practice of being in a relationship to myself, where I just, I'm able to recognize when I'm not a little bit faster, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, meditation does the same thing. It's like when you practice the breath, you're more aware of when you're losing the breath, right? And so like, as I've been practicing the self-care, I'm able to say, you know, when I'm having hard times, or I'm feeling lonely or depressed, or victim one is a big one for me, right? If I start to blame other people and be like, okay, usually that means I'm not taking care of myself. And I'm able to recognize that a lot faster. So certainly like 2 weeks ago, or no, last week, my kids were sick, really sick for a very long amount of time. And I couldn't practice self-care or self-love. Like really, I couldn't. You know, in the way that I wanted to, but I was able to recognize that and say, what is possible for you, Michaela? You know, there's something you could do here, even if it's 2 minutes, even if it's just owning the experience and so it doesn't mean life's perfect. It just means that I think it just means that you're connected to your experience. You're meeting yourself where you are in that experience, and you are connected to yourself. You're connected to yourself, I think.
I like what you said about being able to recognize it faster, because when you are taking time to be nice to yourself and your thoughts, when you're able to kind of push the self-doubt away and celebrate, the little things, you are living, like you said, more joyful. So when you're not living that way, you're able to recognize it faster.
Yeah.
Like we were saying before, that we don't have all the answers as yoga teachers or coaches or whatever that looks like for you, but you don't have all the answers. But at least you're working. I read it. What book is it? I think it's Sally Kempton that talked about being like a motorcycle in traffic and being able to sort of like weave in and out of it. Like when things get really tough, life is going to hand you what it's going to hand you. It's having the tools to get through it with grace, Yes. So.
And we are getting some really good comments. Christina was just saying that, people that are empathetic tend to put other people before themselves. And I really think that there's this concept around self-love that's like, if you practice self-love before other people, you're selfish. I really had that belief for a really long time until I hit complete burnout.
Yeah.
I mean, burnout, you guys. One of the reasons I'm in Romania was because my nervous system couldn't handle my life anymore. I was doing too many things. I was unhappy in the job. Life will make you change one way or the other. And I think it was from that belief of like, I can do it all at the same time. And that it's selfish to put myself first. So I was trying to push through and do all the things I wanted, right. But I was I wasn't filling up my cup. I wasn't taking care of myself. And now I really, they say it all the time, like put on your oxygen mask first. I know it's
I totally just wrote that. Self-love, right. Taking care of your body and mind, taking time to take care of me so that I can give more to others. It's like putting the oxygen mask on yourself first in the airplane.
Amen, Debbie. But it's hard to implement. Like, I know it, but is my life revealing that I know it? Yeah. Are my actions revealing that I know it? And that took a while for me to get. And when you have small babies, it is harder, right? And I think the expectations are a little bit different, or if you're moving through chronic illness or grief, those things sometimes that's the part of like meeting yourself where you are. It's like, I know a lot of my dear friends that have chronic illness, they can't even get out of the bed, So it's like, what is self-love? What is the act of self-love that you can do for yourself in that experience today? Mm-hmm. And that's gentle and it's nurturing and accepting. And that's what Connie said. It's kind of like that balance. And that's why I like to call it a practice, right? Because we're never going to get it fully because we're always changing. The circumstances of our life are always changing. And some days it could be, 3 hours of working on Emaya. Like that really feels really good to me, mm-hmm. Or maybe it's when my kids are sick and it's 3 minutes of crying in the bathroom and being like, letting that go, letting it out and owning it.
Those emotions for sure. In preparing for this, I've been thinking about too, when self-care, I just want to kind of bring self-care into this because it kind of goes hand in hand with self-love. And when that started for me, and I kind of was like, kind of been tossing this idea around and didn't really think about self-care until I became a mom. But I want to go back to the beginning. And when I think I was super out of balance was moving to the city as an actress and getting here, told no, or, not booking jobs and comparing myself to other singers and other women, staring each other down in the room, waiting to be seen and talking. I wish I would have had this practice then, because I think that I would have been more successful. Right? Because I just was not kind to myself. I really put myself down. And then I started to think about the first time that I started to have voices like that. And Kayla, I can remember being in a piano recital, probably as like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old. And I was pretty good. But I would sit there and I would put my fingers to the keys, and there'd be a reflection in, I mean, isn't it incredible how you can go back to a memory like this? I could see my fingers in the reflection of the black wood of the piano. And I would tell myself, you're going to mess up. You're going to mess up and everybody's going to laugh at you. And you really have no business being up here. I mean, that voice as a little girl, like, where did that even come from? And that kind of makes me sad in a way, because I don't know, that's just, it stinks as a little girl, because I was really good at it. And sometimes I could beat the voice and nail it. And other times I would let the voice mess me up. And then my heart would pound and I would keep going, because that's what you do. You keep going. So, and, in a sense, I think I had a really great teacher, and maybe she didn't talk about the voices or things like that, but once you start, you got to keep going. You got to pick up. You can't apologize. So there were wonderful tools, of course, but that was my first experience with that self-doubt, and how your thoughts can totally derail you. They can totally derail your song. So I pull yourself out that lately now, right? Like when I start to think that I'm not doing enough, or I'm not, the work isn't perfect, or it's this or that, I really try to change the thoughts in my mind and be more loving. And it works. It works. Yeah.
And I think below this, I'm going to put my coaching hat on for a second, but below the thoughts live the beliefs, right? So like underneath that is usually a belief that I'm not worthy, or whatever, so it's also, what do I believe? Or put another, like, what do I believe about myself that I have to be perfect in this piano recital? Or what do I believe about myself that, like, I can't mess up when I'm trying something new, And then the other way that you could say that is, what do I need to believe about myself to love myself, right? And that's something that I've really been working on too. And I think we talk about this all the time, is, beliefs and thoughts are pretty much everything. That's why we love meditation too, because gosh, want to know what you're thinking. Yeah. We're getting some more comments. There are times, Christina, when I know that I just really need a massage or a pedicure to treat myself and nurture myself, but I don't feel comfortable spending the money on it when my kids' needs feel more important. I think that's a lot of moms feel like that.
I was thinking about that too, Christina, even as a bartender and an actress in my 20s, like I couldn't spend money on things like that. And Kayla and I were talking about this before we jumped on. A ton of my prenatal yoga students, this is a question I ask all the time. How are you loving yourself, and what self-care look like to you now? And in a room full of 20 pregnant women, I would say 18 of them say going to get a prenatal massage. I think that is amazing self-care. But you're right. Not everyone can afford that. And I think it goes deeper. I think it goes into, like, really, how am I taking care of myself? So, Christine, the one way, and I know we'll get into this more before we wrap up, but one thing that I've been doing that my therapist gave me homework was to lay in bed and go back over my day. I could cry just thinking about it, and say, thank you, Connie, for 3 things that you did awesome. And some days it's really hard, but some days it's like, I didn't lose my cool when Hudson had a meltdown walking down the street, and I handled that really well. Another thing I did really good today was making a really delicious, nutritious dinner for everyone. Like little things like that. If I'm really going for it, and it puts me, like thanking myself before I go to bed, and then waking up in the morning, it's done. That little 3 minutes. So like, that's something, Kayla, you could have done, looking back on your week with your sick children. I mean, you didn't have time to take care of yourself, but it doesn't take much. That's my point. You don't have to spend money on giving yourself love and lifting yourself up.
Yeah, it's like gratitude, like the meditation gratitude challenge we did. Susan's saying, my new way of living, when negative thoughts come along, I tell myself to not waste my energy on that. And you're right, it works. It's seriously just push proof in the air.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's, I think there's tons of possibilities of how we can be experiencing something. And I think it's when we're aware of what we're thinking, we can easily shift it. Yeah. I think there's something else I wanted to say, but I'm getting a little bit. Oh.
Laurie also said something. One of my biggest regrets is not taking care of myself, taking care while my kids were growing up. I'm certain now it would have been a benefit to your children. But Laurie, please, like you have wonderful children that I love so much, and don't look at it like regret. Like here you are now. Laurie is a designer in the city, and she's a wonderful mom. And I used to see her when I lived in Long Island City taking kickboxing classes. I mean, that is self-care. Really, and with a smile on her face, it made me want to go more and more because she has this light about her. So I think, yes, of course, we're like looking back and reflecting, but don't let it be regret because so much, and we're all works in progress, right? Like,
yeah, I think also it's like, it's, we're going back to that it's selfish to practice self-love. That's a belief, right? And it's a cultural belief that I think that we are picking up on. But I feel really excited about the changes that are happening, specifically about like women empowerment, and I think that's certainly one that's shifting. And it's I think it's a time where it would behoove all of us to, if we're not already, asking like, what do I desire? And this is something I talk a lot about. It's like, even for some people, asking like, what do I want, can be really challenging and hard because they haven't asked themselves that question in a long time, or they're assuming that they want something that they didn't want. But for me, I have to be honest. For me to connect and practice self-love, I need to be alone. Okay, I'm an introvert. And if I'm around people all the time, I lose myself very quickly to other people's energies. And it took me a while to learn that. And then when I became a mom, I felt bad. I can't be around my children to like fill myself up. And it took me a long time to realize like it's kind of a non-negotiable, and I need to ask for help.
Right.
And I need alone time. I need alone time. And maybe that's not for you, that the same way for you all. But I think identifying what do you need to connect to the self, and it's that practice and that coming back to yourself and working on yourself.
Take this one step further though, because I will say this. What we're doing right now feeds me and gives me. This is self-love for me, right? Calling the babysitter to take the kids out of the house, telling my husband he better be quiet, getting ready for work, and talking to you and seeing all these people that really like
totally
so happy, right? But I think the point, or last week we went to LA and I got to connect with a few friends that I haven't seen in so long, and I left those experiences. And I took it in and I reflected. So I think that yes, being alone to reflect on that is the other part of the self-care. So, like I think,
or it's like if I hadn't been alone before this and sat in meditation before this, I wouldn't be showing up
the way you need to be.
You know what I mean?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's different. So what is that? Like, what is it that you need to like connect to yourself? I think that's a good way to explore self-love, and it's different for everybody. And then asking for the help, like, hey, honey, I need you to watch the kids for 5 minutes while I do whatever, or maybe it's longer.
Yep. We have about 6 minutes left.
Wow. Okay.
Time is my sanity saver. Yeah, for sure. And I'm not saying it's not. I just do think that you whatever lights you up in life, if it's, date night, if it's time with your kids outside of your home, things that make you so happy, but then maybe like reflecting on it in those alone times, what about my day was so wonderful? What am I doing?
I love that.
I
love that, because even the things that like we move through that feel like just normal things, it's like some days it's like, hey, I walked my dog today and I didn't feel good.
But I did it.
But you did it. And like, right, that's totally, it's like loving yourself, meeting yourself where you are, as you are, I think is a beautiful expression of self-love.
Good.
Well, okay, let's go back. We have so much engagement happening. Susan's saying that open heart pose you posted really helped me love myself more. Seriously though, it brought me so much peace and tranquility. Oh yeah.
That was so Michaela's idea. She's like, honey, let's put, post some, will you do a heart opener? And it's true. I mean, like these heart openers, and we're studying and diving into the chakras more. And it's so important to move your body and your energy to get those blocks out. So if you're like this all day, or you're fighting on the phone at work with people and putting fires out, or whatever it is that you do that kind of like gets your energy in a bunch, to lay back and breathe in a position like that, and then watch a cute little kid help his mom do that. I mean,
he was adorable.
He was so good. If you guys haven't seen it, scroll down on our page, Hudson and I.
Another thing, Connie just wrote a beautiful blog about self-care, and she breaks it down into different categories like relationships, connection to self. And it's a really good breakdown of ways that you could also reflect in different areas of your life, how you can deepen your practice to self-care and your relationship to self. Lori's saying that she expresses self-love by going to a museum and spending time with art. I love that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, there's so many different ways. And I think the first step is like just knowing what fills you up and trying to give it to yourself.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, we have 3 more minutes. And Connie, should we go to the questions for them to reflect on?
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, so 3 questions. These are things that we've been reflecting on, just to kind of get your brain mulling over self-love. Question 1, Connie, do you want to type it in too while I say it?
Sure.
Okay. Who am I?
In the comments, Kayla?
Yeah, please. Thanks, babe. So question number 1, who am I when I am practicing self-care? And the who am I would be, what am I thinking? What am I doing? And what am I believing about myself when I'm practicing self-care? The second question is, who am I not when I'm practicing self-care? So when I'm not practicing self-care, what am I thinking? What am I doing? And what am I believing about myself? And then the third question is, what can I do today that's in an expression of self-love? And you can plop all your responses down to those questions in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We also would definitely want to know what you're going to do today to practice self-love. And we can circle back and make sure that you did it and give you a little accountability there, even if it's something small, right? It could be big or small, it's something. And then if you have, any friends that you think would benefit from this conversation and this community, we really, have an intention to just grow this community of support for each other. And we would love for you to share with your friends and family. So,
also thank you. Thank you for taking time to sit on social media. And, it can be such a sticky, technology is kind of scary these days, but I think that if we can do good with it and connect with each other, and Michaela's in Romania and I'm in New York City and Debbie's in Florida. And I mean, just how wonderful that we can connect and that you're actually taking time, to support what we're doing and support yourself, because I think that, a lot of what we're doing, that's our mission. We really just want you to have a great day and keep coming back. So thank you.
On that note, Susan says she's going to chop wood.
Carry on, ladies. Chop wood and carry. Right.
So awesome. Okay. Thank you so much to all of you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day. And we'll see you next month.
Yeah, March.
February's almost over. What the heck?
Can't believe it.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.